This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel this fine Wednesday, smoky, I gotta say, afternoon down here in southern Alberta. It is absolutely brutal. It's starting to set in worse and worse by the hour, it seems, and my goodness, you know what? Soon I'm going to have to close all the windows completely. Yes, I will. That said, the Oilers, well, look for them, with the way things are trending, to close a window on a guy in the NHL Entry Draft if there seems to be something better available at pick number 14. That said, if we don't trade pick number 14, which I've already covered. So, what I'm talking about is Yaroslav Askarov, obviously the hot topic. Guys, I mean, out of anyone in the draft that Oilers fans actually think we have the best shot at and could have the biggest impact for the Oilers, it's Askarov. Here's the problem. We already have this young, hotshot KHL goalie that is a lot closer to coming over to play in the NHL than Askarov, and nobody is giving him the time of day until all of a sudden we've got no hockey being played. Nobody even... Straight up 2 weeks ago, nobody knew this guy existed outside of those of us that paid very close attention all year last year to the 2019 Oilers draft class. So, who am I talking about? Ilya Konovalov. Who am I talking about? How about 3-1, 950 save percentage, Ilya Konovalov in the KHL. Ilya, over there, just stopping pucks with Locomotive Yaroslav. And of course, he's doing a very good job of it. How about... faced 50 shots that he stopped on 52 shots he faced total in the weekend action this past weekend for Locomotive, and he is now, like I said, 3-1 on the season with a 1.57 goals against average this year in the KHL. He's 22 years old, okay? This is perhaps why people have kind of lost this guy in the situation that is the Oilers prospect depth. This is bona fide, by the looks of it, our best goaltending prospect in Konovalov. Yes, you could make arguments for Rodrigue, but when it comes to most NHL ready, most capable goalie prospect, it is Konovalov. Unfortunately, as far as I understand, and I could be wrong here, somebody please correct me if there is an out clause in the KHL to go play in the NHL. I do not believe there is. Askarov, I don't know what his situation is, so I won't speak to that. But Konovalov is under contract all this season in the KHL, and then he would be ready for the 2021-2022 NHL season. So yes, we're still talking about an Edmonton Oilers goaltender being a year away. This is not due to talent level, I don't think. At 22 years old, Konovalov has proved about everything there is to prove about being a goalie at a top tier in the KHL. Now, say what you will about top tier goalies in the KHL, Mikko Koskinen, but you know what? Mikko Koskinen's still a very good goalie in his own right. Is he good enough? Yes. Is he great? Maybe. Is he elite? No, but you get where I'm going is you need that tandem pair, and right there on Mikko Koskinen's final year of his contract, you would have that with fellow KHL veteran at that point, Ilya Konovalov. So let's bring this back around to Askarov. Why wouldn't you draft Askarov? Is because, simply put, if you can find something of equal value to the organization like Askarov is, then you draft the other guy. Simply because you start a development path in another situation. Now, I'm not here to say the Oilers shouldn't go for Askarov because, honestly, if he's there, I think you're dumb not to at this point. But it's kind of a toss-up, right? Are you trying to develop two elite goaltenders at once and almost pit them against each other to rise them up the ranks as fast as possible? Or what are you trying to achieve, I guess, would be the directive, going and getting two-star Russian goalies while also trying to build the rest of the organization. And that's what the draft does. So I see the Oilers maybe going after a forward in the first round for the first time in 2 years. I don't think a goalie is quite the best way to go, but again, Askarov is a very, very good way to go, and I'm not here to say he isn't. So you get where the dilemma comes in, but again, I think it all comes down to just how high and just how valuable Ilya Konovalov is to the Edmonton Oilers organization. The guy's playing lights out this year in the KHL. He was lights out last year in the KHL, so he's done a lot of work already for the Edmonton Oilers in terms of being a prospect. So why would you go mix with that? And I mean, I'm not, again, to say that you can't do better than Ilya Konovalov, right? Okay, can I not spell Konovalov? Ilya Konovalov. There we go. There we go. Let's get this. So, last year in the KHL, played a total of 2 games with Yaroslav Lokomotiv. I don't think that makes sense, but he had 2 wins and a 2.0 goals against average, 941 save percentage. Sure. And this year, oh wait, never mind. Sorry. That's 1920. They got it set up 2 different ways, and they haven't updated the 2021 stats. Sorry, I'm not used to looking at it that way. But last year, he had a total of 42 games played, 14 wins, or 16 wins, 18 losses, 6 ties, whatever, but 912 save percentage plus 941 save percentage, and a goals against average below 2.45. You really can't complain about that. That's getting the job done. And remember, Lokomotiv, I believe, is the dumpster fire that was the one that fired Craig McTavish. If that makes sense, I believe that was the connection there. So keep that in mind as well. But guys, absolutely interesting to see kind of how the Oilers decide to go about this draft. That's the situation, right? Is you've got a star goalie in the making in Konovalov. Do you go after another star Russian goalie in the making in Askarov, or do you go another route? And I guess the question is open, same as yesterday. Do you or don't you? Because there's a million ways to do this, and I mean, I guess what do you achieve in throwing another star Russian goalie into the pipeline that's going to take 2 to 3 years? Whereas you could probably get a guy into the lineup in the next 2 years if you're taking a forward in the first round this year. That just seems to be the likelihood, right? And I guess, again, this is preempted by, look at it this way, are we trading the 14th overall, which Ken Holland has made publicly known that he is willing to trade the 14th overall draft pick in the 2020 NHL draft to a team as long as he gets another first round draft pick back. So here's the other side too. Askarov most likely is probably going within picks number 7 to 12. That's where I'd have him slotted. In fact, I'd have him slotted even to make a mystery jump up to number 5 or 6, just out of the blue kind of deal, like Broberg rose up the ranks last year in the NHL draft late. So that's another thing, is do Oilers fans actually have a legitimate shot at landing Askarov? I don't think so, but again, that's to the point, is you don't have to worry so much about that, because you can focus on a guy named Ilya Konovalov in the KHL for Lokomotiv, who is doing absolutely fantastic things. And for the first time in the long time, the Edmonton Oilers have what appears to be a hot shot goalie in the system and ready to come over in a year's time to the NHL level. You think about Stuart Skinner. Is Stuart Skinner NHL ready? Ask our friends in Bakersfield that'll be commenting on this video. They will give you a very informed opinion that no, he is not. Dylan Wells, a name that you may or may not have heard depending on how much you pay attention to Bakersfield. Not really NHL quality. Maybe one day, but not quite. Olivier Rodrigue, yet to play professional hockey or hockey at the professional level, however you look at that. So I doubt that he's ready to go. He will be in Wichita this year, as far as I understand. Probably split some time in Bakersfield too, but straight up, I think, you know what, our best goalie prospect, and it's showing and shining through day by day since he was drafted back in 2019, is Ilya Konovalov. And that should rest assured, A, if you don't get Askarov, or B, if you want to pick someone other than Askarov, you are good to go, because you've got a guy named Ilya Konovalov over there in the KHL just to percolate and to come up and out. And again, like I said, if there is an out clause I'm not familiar with KHL contracts to come play in the NHL, especially this year, well, then maybe we found our backup solution to what the Edmonton Oilers have been missing this whole offseason. And how are we going to figure this out? We can't re-sign Mike Smith. Maybe I'm not worried about prospects. Maybe the dude is a legit NHLer and it's Ilya Konovalov. That I'm just going to spitball and I don't know because I straight up don't have the answers there. And I don't think any amount of research on the KHL website would get me anywhere this evening. So guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for spending part of your Wednesday evening with me. It's been my pleasure to have you along. I will catch you in the next one.